Hey guys, hope everyone's been getting through the month of January so far. I just wanted to take a quick detour from my usual videos to make a few videos about video games. Well, not that my previous videos weren't related to video games, but you know what I mean. So anyway, I've been relatively quiet on YouTube apart from making a couple of videos about game theory, and the main reason being is that I haven't been able to really find a decent game to consider like my main game. For those of you who watched my New Year's video, I talked about how I was going to mostly wait until I found a new long-lasting game to play and make videos about. And currently there aren't really any that I find too interesting on. Two games though, they do come to mind at the moment. Currently Dungeon Fighter Online 3D, which is supposed to come out sometime. Well, I mean, there's no exact release date because it just only got released in a trailer from Project Barbecue. More importantly though, Cube World. I actually played quite a bit of Cube World back in 2013 when it first came out on Alpha, and like many others, I immediately fell in love with the game. It's a clean mix of Minecraft, some MMORPG aspects like World of Warcraft, along with a cute voxel-based artwork that gives everything pretty much a lighthearted feel. Cube World is what I considered a dream to reach a perfect game. It's been under development by solely Wolfram von Funk, or by his tag Wollay, and his wife Sarah. The two of them have released Cube World's alpha version back in 2013, but haven't really added any updates in almost 6 years since. For the most part though, the lovable aesthetic and gameplay's potential have created kind of a cult following that still holds true to the belief that Cube World will eventually come out soon. And while I believe that no such thing as a perfect game exists, Cube World is one that I definitely feel has the potential to be one. To be transparent with you guys, I'm making this video as a low-key hype announcement that Cube World is still live and kicking. Yesterday, on January 26, 2019, Wollay released 3 tweets after not having said anything about Cube World since July of 2017. Over a year and a half ago, basically. Although knowing him, it's going to be years before the game actually comes out, or maybe it won't. A lot of people wonder why Wollay isn't releasing periodic updates such as a beta version or adding in patches so that we players can keep the fire going, as it's pretty clear he can make quite a lot of profit off of this game with the amazing concept. And even after no new gameplay versions have been implemented since the alpha release in 2013, players are still pining for the next expansion for Cube World. Practically speaking, it does make sense. Why wouldn't he take this amazing opportunity to reap the rewards of his labor on his dream project? It's because, at least in my opinion, he's trying to make it a perfect game. Cube World is not a project whose purpose is profit, its purpose is passion. In my video on 5 qualities every game should have, at the end I said that the most important thing in a video game is the person's heart. The whole cliche of the secret ingredient being love and whatnot. And for a game like Cube World, it's Wollay's passion project. The reason why I believe Cube World has the potential to come out as a perfect game is because Wollay is trying to release it all in one go. While I can't speak for him, I think he's trying to see if he can get everything in Cube World all finished before he actually releases it. And he wants to do it himself, at least from the surface. Like Undertale, Cube World is currently only being worked on by Wollay and his wife, which means the lack of manpower can certainly attribute to the extremely long time it's taking for it to release. And like most passion projects, the fire can burn out and sometimes you'll put it down. It might take a couple months or even years to get back into it, but I can definitely empathize with that since I myself am also working on a project that might take the rest of my life to finish. The fact that only he and his wife are working on this game means that the game will come out exactly how he would want it. While having extra hands helps with getting the tedious stuff done, it's not done by his own hands, and to that extent it's not entirely his own work anymore. One could present the argument that directors can complete the game in their own vision, just by using other people to design and code, but ultimately it's not fully done by him. Being able to release the game made from his and his wife's own work would mean that they released the game through their own vision and sculpted it with their own efforts. In other words, I feel it's more for the sake of sentimentality than for the sake of completion. After all, a painting is done by only one person. One thing I actually give a lot of respect to the game for is that it's not being released in patches, which is another reason for why I think Cube World can have the potential to become a perfect game. The beauty of releasing a game and consistently updating it with patches is that you have the option and opportunity to fix things wrong with the game, as well as continue improving on a concept, such as finding new seasonings to add to a dish or decorating a cake. It also means that players can continue to indulge in the game while developers are working on it, which is a win-win. Both parties are satisfied. However, therein lies the most inherent flaw of patches. The developers are no longer in control of their game. Creating something of your own vision can be difficult to do when it's being created for the sake of others. When it comes to video games, players will influence how the game's future will be. In a way, they have unspoken equity. Of course, most if not all the time, a game's community knows what's best for the game since, well, they're the ones playing it, and they probably know more about the game than developers know themselves. And while any successful and good developer will do their very best to adhere to the community's wishes for the sake of PR and such, sometimes that means at the sacrifice of their own. I like to think that Wollay's intentionally not releasing any patches for the game because, like I said before, he wants the game to be made in his image. If he were to release patches, players will get an idea of how the game is growing and will try to see if they can persuade him on various features and whatnot. You should try this, you should add this, take this away, I don't like it, maybe consider changing this. As selfish as I'm making it sound, there's beauty to this method of releasing a game as well. We get to truly understand what they wanted for the game, their dream. Clearly, Wollay doesn't care about the game for a profit, which is admirable. Most people would sacrifice their game's dignity to make a few extra bucks. If Wollay wanted to make money off of this, he would have released patches to grow the game's reputation. But he chose not to, and instead wants to work on the game for what it originally was, a passion project. People speculate that the game will never be released given his sparse updates and unwillingness to give us an estimated time of release, but can you blame him? He doesn't want to be rushed with this, and wants to wait for the game to be as good as he imagined it to be before he shares it with us. And that's why I believe it will be a perfect game, or at least it can be. Not perfect in mechanics or aesthetic, but perfect because it's his game and he makes it the way he wants to. He's not pressured by time or money, nor are there too many cooks in the kitchen. I'm sure many Cube World enthusiasts would agree, and that's probably why there are so many people who still love the game and are waiting patiently for the game to come out, because they know when the game is released it will be a game Wollay is satisfied with, and by extension we will be too. So many gaming communities throw away their own sense of agency into the game just to pander for the player's desires, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, there's something important to be said about experiencing a creator's hopes and dreams at their own purest form. And I have faith that Cube World will deliver. I know this got a little overly sentimental, but I actually really look up to people like Toby Fox, Notch, and Wollay because they all have games that started out as passion projects and have become super successful. It really goes to show you that when you make something and put your soul into it, not for the money, the success, or the popularity, it will reward you with so much. If Cube World ever does get released within the next decade or so, you can bet your ass I'll be making videos on it, provided some other game hasn't come out by then. But even then, probably will. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and for every Cube World fan watching this video, let's cross our fingers and hope he's gonna stay in touch for a while. I mean, the Cube World subreddit kind of exploded after he made those 3 tweets, but let's hope he continues tweeting for a while. And I'm just glad though that he did say something, because at least we know the game is still alive. In fact, I feel even more confident that Cube World will stay alive because changes to the UI of a game would not really happen if the developers weren't planning on releasing it soon. As you can see by the pictures, he made a complete overhaul on how the game is actually going to look from an interface perspective. With years and years spent developing Cube World though, it would be stupid for him to ditch everything. For the time being though, let's wait, and I'm sure he'll definitely reward us for our patience and support. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon in the next video. Take care.